Hey, it's the RIOT podcast. Woo!
Yay! Woo! Are you guys tired and the woo is covering up the tired?
Yeah, it is. It is. So here's what I got for you, Nikki. In our podcast today is RadioU's birthday.
Yeah, we're the RIOT on RadioU. That's our, radio network, which you can check out through RadioU.com if you want to hear music and a little bit more of the RIOT. You're more than welcome to. And it's our RadioU birthday today.
Yes, indeed. Now, before I leave, I got to have a piece of that cake.
Yeah, so we got cake. Isn't
There's
that nice?
Cake. Mm-hmm. And also in the show, we talk about the Justice League movie, The Winter Soldiers, the state of emergency on Miami Beach. It sounds like 2 Police Academy sequels. Police Academy State of Emergency, Police Academy Miami Beach.
Of course, the Miami Beach part.
Yeah. Let's see. Obadiah gets upset about travel pictures. Be careful of snakes. Porch Piracy turning into Pooch Piracy. Some Apple stuff. Shout out to Derek. And the last thing in the podcast today is Nikki and I just babbling at each other about whatever.
It's the best. And that's the moment we'll probably remember the most from the show.
It's the one I'll remember for sure.
It was the most excited we were during the whole show.
It was.
And not about the topic we started talking about in the first place.
Oh, well, I hope you guys enjoy it. That's all.
Okay, go get your cake.
Okay.
Make sure you say, hey, text 877 to RadioU, and that you're a podcast listener, and enjoy your day. And thank you for listening.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
The RIOT isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the RIOT. RadioU.
Somebody in this room is having a birthday.
And you're like, but Nikki, it was just your birthday. You're right.
You're right. It's somebody else's birthday in this room.
But Obi, your birthday is always, right in the fall.
During the fall fundraiser.
It's always then.
It's always then.
So it's not Obi.
So what is it, Nikki?
Is it the new headphones?
It is. It's their actual birthday.
Is it their actual birthday today?
Today's RadioU's birthday.
Yay! We have cake.
There is cake. So that's exciting because the RIOT skipped their anniversary cake, so we're going to make up for it today.
So I think everybody was extra aware that we should have cake for today. I think they noticed that we missed the absence of our RIOT anniversary cake this year. So we do. Attention staff. There is a RadioU happy birthday cake that'll be in the break room for today. We can't eat it all. I think we can, but we can't. We can try.
I mean, theoretically, there will be cake in the break room. But you know what? I would like for the evening staff to appreciate what happens to us usually when we leave something. And that is, we're like, there will be some tomorrow. And then you come back and there's a box, but then you open the box and the box is empty.
The box is always left, but the items inside the box are gone.
So I don't know, Nikki, maybe we'll have a staged art piece of a cake.
Why don't we just take what we think we should take home?
Yeah.
For the cake. They're like, why'd you guys take cake home? Why not?
What's wrong with that?
So I posted a pic. If you follow RadioU on Facebook, on Twitter, if you follow us at RadioU Official on Instagram, make sure you head over at least this morning and say happy birthday.
Yes, indeed.
And while we eat the cake.
Oh, cake. So happy birthday, RadioU.
What's worse than the worst of the RIOT? The worst of the RIOT podcast. Yeah, you did this to yourself. Podcast. RIOT. RadioU.
We want to say hi to Jen, who says she's driving a cargo van full of alpacas.
She's on her way back from a very long drive, and she was sweet enough to wish RadioU a happy birthday. Is it the alpacas?
Well, I'm wondering if I'm awake right now.
Of course.
Are you sure?
Everybody has alpacas now. You're the one missing out.
What's wrong with you? Where are your alpacas?
Where are yours at?
Oh, well, Jen, thanks for calling, and we hope your drive wraps up well.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of birthdays, Nikki, it's RadioU's birthday. I am looking here at Natalie Harvey's Facebook post, in which she has tagged a lot of people because she is celebrating the 1-year birthday of the road construction in her neighborhood.
Oh, really? Oh, she must be mad.
It's so great.
1 year.
She baked a cake and she got some balloons.
Oh,
And she went out and took pictures of herself.
With the road construction?
With the cake and the balloons and all the construction.
Aww.
And it's really sweet. She said, I celebrate my kids' birthdays. I make them cakes. I do this for my husband's birthday. Why not the street construction?
So this was in Louisiana.
It's in Louisiana.
A road construction project is right there. You can see the pictures, and there's her cake with it.
They were told when the construction started that it would take 2 to 4 weeks, and it's been a year.
Well, is that a COVID thing, or is that their excuse for it?
I don't know.
They said to celebrate, created a replica of the street scene in cake form, 2 layers of chocolate sponge cake. Ooh, with a peanut butter frosting. That sounds really good.
Doesn't that sound delicious?
Have we had that before?
No.
If not, it looks like a kid's cake.
But it's great. She put like Lego guys on top and put some real effort into it. Her with the cake, the balloons, and the...
Is that a birthday hat?
Yes. And the, what is this, the bulldozer or something? Just a picture of her standing next to this empty bulldozer. Hilarious.
Nice. That's perfect.
You know what's funny is an angry rant on Facebook, nobody would care. But this is an attention getter.
Isn't this nice, though? It speaks volumes without being mad or like too nasty. Like she's just saying, hey, just so we can all notice, it's been a year. Here's a cake. Let's celebrate.
She said that a neighbor had announced on Facebook that, hey, it's been almost a year. And she was like, well, I know what to do with that.
She can put her cake making skills right to work.
Yeah,
The cake was decorated with Lego people, miniature construction machines, tiny orange traffic cones, and a small road closed sign. She posted them on Facebook for everybody to see.
So, Nikki, their reasons for saying it's taken a year when it was only supposed to take 2 weeks is bad weather, environmental issues, and the COVID-19 pandemic.
And they just don't care. So,
well,
just don't care to finish it.
You know how it is.
Well, cute. I like that a lot. Way to go. It's a nice way to show your anger with that.
The city has taken notice, and they say they've been out there meeting with the construction team
to see what's up,
see what's going on.
And what's great is you're angry, but then you get cake. So, how angry can you be?
Eat your feelings.
Yeah. So I think you really chose the right way to go with this.
So happy birthday, construction, and happy birthday, RadioU.
Because we are celebrating RadioU's birthday. We just have a traditional cake. We didn't get a road construction cake.
Well, you know what? Maybe next year.
It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
You know what? You could even tell Obadiah to get well soon because I don't know if you guys have heard, but he was recently diagnosed with Olympic fever. Man.
I don't know what doctor you saw. Was that a teledoc?
I don't know. They just told me if I click the Zoom link,
you'd be able to get something.
They could help me.
No, I don't think you do have that. But allergies are a mysterious thing, so maybe.
Who can know, right? But it's people were reporting some rumors, and now it's official. Spectators
not welcome
from abroad, stay home.
You are not welcome for the Tokyo Olympics for this summer, which were supposed to be last summer, but now this summer. Instead of rescheduling them, there had been talks the last, I don't know, maybe I feel like a month at this point, but they would have the Olympic participants, and that'd be about it. Coaches, I don't know about families of the athletes and stuff, but if you wanted to go and actually be a spectator of the Olympics, you're not allowed.
I can't imagine very many countries getting away with this.
Sure. Well, I mean, at this time, though, I think that's the only way they can.
I don't know.
And still have the Olympics.
Yeah,
so you can watch, you can watch it, but you just can't watch it in person.
Yeah. Well, that's the great news. And, that's the thing is, like, Nikki and I always just glued to Olympic coverage. Like, can't get enough of the stories, the drama behind the athletics on display.
Yes. But maybe it'll be the case. I remember when college football came back, even though it was like a shortened season and stuff, but it felt so great to watch because it's been in such a long time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe for Olympics, it'll be that. Everybody be so excited to see it.
You know what? That's a distinct possibility. I mean, let's face it. There's not a whole lot going on. It's like there is, but there isn't.
Putting basketball aside right now. I mean, that is going on.
I get it.
But by summertime, you might just be really itching for some Olympics.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Like the the summer. Well, I mean, there's baseball. I'm sorry,
but wait.
There's more.
So if you wanted to hopefully travel, they're just saying because there's so many variations of COVID and just still, being safe and so many different traveling rules from different countries where it's not like we're just talking about people from here, like from all different places have different rules that need to be followed. And then what if you need a quarantine? You'd have to go to the Olympics. You'd have to, hotels would just be quarantine centers. It just doesn't work.
So they have sold about 600,000 tickets to events from people outside Japan. That were going to be visiting Japan.
So before last summer, they had sold those tickets?
600,000, and they have been told that they will receive refunds for those tickets.
Nothing's more final than a refund.
It really is, isn't it?
That
They're
just says
we're done with you.
They're not, because some people at first are like, well, wait until closer to the Olympics, but they have to prepare for that. They can't just wait last minute and say, okay, everybody go ahead and travel. That's not possible.
Yeah. And the one thing I will say, too, is in the middle of it all, there's this element of it being a bummer to everybody else, but Japan gets... No, this is kind of a bummer for Japan, too, because hosting the Olympics is hugely expensive, and one of the incentives of hosting the Olympics is the tourism.
Well, the hosting the part is so expensive, but you make up for the money from the tourism.
Right.
Well, there's no tourism now.
That's right.
But yet you're still hosting the Olympics, which you had to postpone from last year.
Yeah. So it's not
a perfect setup.
Not great for anybody, I suppose. But I will say that sometimes... I don't know. I always feel like when I'm competing, it's great to have a stadium full of people.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's easier for me to focus when, it's just me and my fellow competitors.
There's no other distractions.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't said anything else, the Olympics are still happening, but they have said no to no spectators, no tourism.
No spectators, no athletes. We'll see you at the Olympics.
Wait, you're having the athletes can come.
No.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nick, did you see how things are going in Miami right now?
For spring break? For the closing down or the quieting down of spring break?
Miami Beach declared a state of emergency.
I loved everybody's response. So they're saying, that's no one from Miami. That's all tourists. The tourism, that you can't have for the Olympics.
They all went to Miami over the weekend.
They're all in Miami, and people there that are causing problems, none of them are from Miami.
Yeah, so it's amazing to see because the police are trying to disperse these crowds, and people are just like, whatever. Nobody cares.
We can wait you out.
I mean, you know what, though? Okay, honestly, as a spring breaker, where's the fun in that? What I was seeing was, none of what they were doing looked like it was any fun. Hey, I'm down here fighting the police. I
but that's every spring break. We just forget it. They're just saying they weren't distancing enough, basically, and so they were wanting to separate people more and not have such large gatherings. That's what they're trying to squash right there. But everybody going all that's a tradition.
Well, right, but I don't know. Not spring break, yes. But the idea of the police want us to leave, and we're like, man, screw the police, and they're trying to break them up and all this stuff. I don't know. To me, I'm just hey, I'll just go back to my hotel room and I'll become the problem with the hotel manager.
Is the hotel pool still open? Can I go there?
The hotel manager doesn't have a sonic cannon or tear gas.
But they're trying to get everybody together.
That's not the way it ended up going. So they are saying that they made over 1,000 arrests. And they are instituting curfew going all the way until April 12th.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't know it was that long.
Making sure that y'all can't have any of your spring break fun.
Everybody's spring break's always at different times. They just want to make sure everybody's covered into April.
And the Miami Beach mayor says that the large crowds are a pandemic tinderbox.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing about that, and I get it. So nobody hate me for saying this, but every time some public official is like, this will be the massive surge, there's never a surge. In fact, they'll be like, look, numbers went down. Look at that.
Just don't.
Why? Why? We don't know.
Don't focus on it, all right? Don't even worry about it.
It's fine.
Just everybody be safe. And going into April, you've got to follow the curfew rules.
So
if you're in Miami.
Saturday night, it was really bad, but everybody was out again last night jumping up and down on cars. So hope you guys put your car in a garage.
Oh, my gosh, that is the worst. You're like, you're just living there. You don't even want all these people around. You're following the rules. You're inside.
Yeah.
But you got street parking. Your poor car.
Monday morning, you go out and you're like, yeah,
is this footprints?
Not going to work today.
Well, maybe you didn't have to anyways, but nothing's worse than that of having to call the insurance, be like, oh, were you in the row of cars?
Like, yeah,
yes,
okay.
I was.
Giving every novelty food the publicity it so blatantly desires. It's The Riot on RadioU.
Let's talk about what happened over the weekend. And if you're like, oh, finally, they're going to talk about basketball.
Oh, no, hold on. No.
There was March Madness for the sports ball people, and then there was some kind of madness for us other peoples.
For all the entertainment choices.
Wow. So this weekend, you had Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, and then you had Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut on HBO Max.
So for Falcon and Winter Soldier, I don't feel like I saw as much response like I did for WandaVision. I was kind of surprised over the weekend.
I feel like the Snyder cut, between the Snyder cut and basketball, quite frankly, it stole some of its thunder.
Did you think so?
I do. I think that it had, WandaVision came out and there was nothing.
Oh, you're right. It was right after the holidays. Things were boring.
Nothing. Yeah. And so it was really a pretty packed weekend as far as some options and such. So I thought Falcon and Winter Soldier was great. I feel like I found myself more interested in the Winter Soldier story because it was very, I don't know, like it had more of a sci-fi angle, whereas Falcon's story, his was interesting too, but it was a little more domestic. Like sure. he was essentially dealing with the fallout of problems of having been gone for 5 years, and Winter Soldier was dealing with the fallout of being gone for like 100 years. I don't know, whatever. But both of them were great, and I'll have to say,
and it looked good.
You're just watching a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It actually...
Wasn't it supposed to and be chopped up, or was it always supposed to be a show?
No, it was always supposed to be a show. You got the production value of a movie, but you get that advantage of the character looks that you would get in TV. So, like, we got to know Falcon's sister and see his nephews. And, like, that kind of stuff to me was really interesting. Find his backstory. You know, some of the stuff that happened to his parents.
And movies, you don't always get that.
No, like they don't have time for things like that. And that was something that I really enjoyed, was just getting a longer, larger look at the characters. And in a lot of ways, Justice League was the same way. The characters had a lot more room to kind of breathe and do. And so we learned things that we didn't really know about them before. Now, in fairness, I didn't finish the Zack Snyder cut.
You haven't finished Justice League yet?
No, I watched an hour of it, and I've got a friend that's coming over Wednesday, and we were going to watch it together. And so I was like, you know what?
Just wait.
I'm just going to stop.
Just wait on the rest of it.
I'll watch it on Wednesday. And there was part of it that was like, no, you must watch all of it now. You can watch it twice on Wednesday. It's just like, we'll get there.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, at 4 hours, 2 viewings is a real commitment. 1 viewing is a commitment.
That's way more than just the how long are the episodes for?
This first one was long. It was like 45 or 50 minutes or something like that.
That's a lot less.
It's true.
to put in. So
it's true.
Well, if anybody watched over the weekend, or if you watched anything else, just let us know and tell us what your thoughts were.
It was, between the two of them, honestly, like darn impressive.
Yeah.
Like what a weekend. What a time to be a nerd and be alive.
Got a lot of stuff, a lot of options, don't you?
Even if you're a sports nerd, what a time to be alive.
Good opportunities over the weekend.
There really was. Like, there was a lot of great stuff to watch.
People win awards for being the best at things. Are there awards for the worst? Because we have a contender. Worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Monopoly.
Yeah.
Did you see the big fuss about Monopoly over the weekend?
Is there a new game, or was it the one where now it's woke?
Supposedly.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was true or not, but it was details about how they're changing up. I don't know if it's all Monopoly or like they're just changing up one version and that's the one you can buy.
I believe they are changing up baseline Monopoly. And here's what they're doing. The only thing they're changing is they're changing the community chest cards. And so right now it's stuff like if you pull from community chest, it'll be like, you won a beauty contest, collect $75 or different things. And so they're like,
who are we to say what beauty is? So, is that what it is?
It's not. They don't say that.
Yeah.
But it's not far off from that.
Gotcha.
They're saying like, hey, the world's changed a lot. So they said, and I love this, that the cards were long overdue for a refresh. And so they are putting emphasis on things that really do reflect our modern day ideals of community. And they said an online voting thing to let people choose what the new ones would be. And so some of the things that you'll find in this new community chest is shop local.
Oh, okay.
Rescue a puppy.
Oh, that's good.
Help your neighbors.
Well, those are nice.
They are, but here's the thing that I'm sure someone else has probably said this, but the more I've thought about it is Monopoly is about driving your other community members into bankruptcy by owning everything and forcing them to give you their money.
So those are too nice?
Well, that's what I'm thinking is like, guys, you're trying to make Monopoly this nicer thing when at the end of the day, that game at its very heart is cutthroat and it is about ending the dreams of other people.
Maybe that's also what needs to change.
So what do you call it then? Like instead of Monopoly, it's like what?
Togetherness.
Community share?
Yeah, something like that.
It's the new.
And if everybody was voting online, what's the thing that always happens when someone votes?
Community face, McFace face?
McBoat face or whatever it is? Like, yeah, when we get one of those cards.
Monopoly McBoat face.
That's the new community chess card.
Yeah, so people are upset about it. I'm not mad, but I wasn't mad at the old cards.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, is keep in mind, like, look, they have to make changes because they have to sell it to you again.
Yeah.
Their whole business, they are in the business of selling you Monopoly as many times as they can. And what's weird is we keep buying it, and the game hasn't changed in like 100 years.
Just the look of it. And we stopped buying it a while ago. We bought a couple of
we did.
Collectors or themed sort of ones. And when we had a couple, we're like, why are we still buying these?
I got suckered into it.
We're not even playing any of these.
My last Monopoly that I bought was Seinfeld Monopoly.
Yeah.
I bought it when a company was going out of business, and I bought it for $3.
Well, that's okay then.
That
seems about right.
Yeah. To me, $3 for Seinfeld, sure, right. But past that.
So did they say when this will appear or when you'll start seeing it?
It's going to be sometime this year. So
an updated Monopoly.
Yeah. Remember, though, even though you're going to be rescuing puppies, your goal is to drive the person to your right into bankruptcy.
Well, you want the... then you can take the puppy.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
I feel like there's been a fairly consistent message that Nikki and I have pushed out across the years, and one of those is you probably shouldn't go to Jack in the Box.
When we've had problems. It's been a Jack in the Box.
I mean,
oh, my gosh.
We've seen things at Jack in the Box, things you shouldn't see.
No, I know you're like, oh, you're exaggerating. No, we're not. We're not.
People taking a bath, like, in the sink and, like...
Shooting up, like right there.
Just right there.
In there, living in the Jack in the Box.
Like living in the Jack in the Box.
It was just absolutely the weirdest thing to ever go into.
And, you know, I know that some people have economic issues, et cetera, but... I mean, I'll just tell you as a consumer, I was like, I don't think I want a burger from here.
Well, we've been to many in Tennessee.
I don't think I want to eat here, guys.
The Tennessee ones have always been eclectic and unique.
Sure.
And then one that we went to in Seattle, it almost seemed like it was just taken over by people.
Yeah.
And others were just trying to eat there. But you couldn't because everybody else was living there.
And so you
just didn't know what to do. And we just backed away. We left.
It was like trying to get something to eat out of a stranger's apartment.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
At some point, it was just like, you know what? See you guys.
I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I think we went to Jimmy John's after. So
yeah. And that means things are really bad. We've gone to Jimmy John's.
It's fine. But we've not been to a Jack in the Box where it's been a calm, like nothing else going on experience. I'm sure some are, but we've never been there.
Well, not this one in Texas.
What did they do?
Well, they're looking for James Schultz right now. He was in a Jack in the Box. Here's what's dumb. He's recording on his phone. He's being recorded by surveillance cameras, but he's recording on his phone because the manager is telling him that he has to wear a mask to come into the Jack in the Box.
Oh, so like in Texas, if it's not a business, you don't have to. But if it is a business, it's up to them, and Jack in the Box is requiring face masks.
So this wonderful patriot, who's no doubt fighting for all of our rights, is there, and this altercation ends with him stabbing the Jack in the Box manager 3 times.
Oh, with a pocket knife?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez.
So,
yeah, I could see that.
But I'll tell you what, he didn't put that mask on.
No, well,
that'll teach you.
Okay, as they find him now.
Right.
So they're looking for tips to find him. So his surveillance footage has been shared. So if anybody has any ideas on who that might be, you need to tell on him.
Also, check out our new steak tips on the Jack in the Box menu.
Did they put that in the article? Like, wait a minute. No, they did not.
You can get steak tips, tacos.
Everything.
Egg rolls.
Egg rolls, all that stuff. Maybe it's
Hot
not
dogs.
like that anymore.
Maybe it's not. I don't know.
It always had a lot, like on the menu, you're just like, wow, you can have all those things in one place.
Oh, my gosh. He stabbed him in the back 3 times. Now, that's a brave man. Way to go.
So the manager who was injured was taken to the local hospital, treated, and released. So they just say, hey, if you have any information, please tell who that guy is. After that, you're done dealing with the public. I'm done. Just like, I'm not doing this anymore. You know, like, manager, you mean?
It's like an assistant manager, right?
The Jack in the Box guy? No, I think it was the manager.
Shift manager. That's not a store manager. That's shift manager is a nice way of saying lead, which is another way of saying you're not even middle management. Like, I've been there, done there. Like, you're the shift manager. And it's like, well, we can remove one letter and you're right. You're absolutely right.
They basically just put you in charge of everybody else while they leave.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Well, and you got to deal with all that.
And you get stabbed in the back for asking somebody to wear a mask and you didn't even care.
3 times you got stabbed. With a pocket knife.
Care. Yeah. Well, if anybody sees James Schultz, true American, he's out there.
Obviously, they know who he is then. They're just trying to find
They got tons of pictures of the guy.
They know his name. They're just trying to figure out where he's at.
There are some people that shouldn't have their own podcast. And by some people, we mean these people. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
Look, I know as human beings that we are inconsistent in our thinking. Like, I know we are. But I'll have to say, sometimes, like social niceties are, we can't say anything. Like, you have to just be like, well, yeah, it's fine, whatever. But I got a couple people in my life. I'm not going to mention any names, but we're friends on social media. And they have really made some strong arguments against, say, returning to school in person. Or returning to various other establishments, houses of worship and such in person. Here's pictures of their vacation. Surrounded by people, like all this stuff. And I'm just like, guys, it's the same.
It's the same thing.
Like, it's fine. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to go to the mall. You don't have to go whatever. But don't tell me that I can't believe they'd want to go back to school. It's unsafe. And there you are hugging strangers in Florida. What are you doing? Like, at least just a tiny bit of consistency. It's all I'm asking for, which is, by the way, too much. Mm-hmm. That's too much, Nikki.
You're not supposed to expect that.
No, and I really want to. I'm dying to say something. I'm dying.
You can't say anything.
I'm dying to say something.
No, because then you've escalated it, and now it's a problem. We see that with all like the teacher stuff when they're like here in the Bahamas and they're saying that. Like, you just can't.
And to be clear, and I mean this sincerely, like, I don't care. Go on vacation, have a good time, whatever. But don't go on vacation and then criticize people for going to the store. Like, It's the same. What do you think? Like, well, the grocery store doesn't get clean like the inside of this airplane does.
Don't think it's going to make you mad if you keep thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, they work so hard to,
it's fine.
Clean this airport bathroom. They're taking care of it. Don't you worry. And the hotel we're staying in, top-notch service. They brought in a special CDC team just to clean our room here
so you're totally safe
at the hotel. So, again, I don't care. And I mean that. Like, it is not what people do. It's saying and doing where it's like, there's no way it's not safe to be back here. But I mean, obviously it's safe to be here because I don't know these people. And I'm going to take a picture and show it to you.
That's the part he really doesn't like.
It's just like, are you freaking kidding me?
Not everybody sees it, though, in the moment when they're doing it.
Is this happening right now? Are you for real? But it's fine. And I'm fine, and Nikki's fine. And this is
good.
not me being tired and sick.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
Expressing my honesty.
No. That's why you're not allowed to respond, because while you are not feeling the best, you can't respond.
I know. So I'm passive-aggressively telling all of you about it.
To get it out somehow, but just don't tell them.
Plausible deniability. If it comes back to me, I'll be like...
Where do you go when you need someone to listen to your problems and give you a big hug? Not here. Obviously. This is The Riot on RadioU.
We talk about it on the show all the time, but just like the difference between what you think you're going to do and what you end up doing. So you become a police officer. You're there to serve and protect. You think to yourself, I'm going to make my community a better place. I'm going to, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you get the call where somebody's cow is out on the loose and you got to go help.
Oh, you got to be the one to go.
You got to help rein in the cow there in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Is that what happened?
It was, but it gets worse for this guy because in the middle of all of this, the police officer gets shot.
Because, really?
Yeah.
Aww.
And you're like, did the cow have a gun?
I was like, at first I thought, and the cow got shot too?
I didn't realize that, cows were beginning to weaponize in Virginia.
Wow.
This is national news.
Well, I also like that the cow was found near a 7-Eleven after they made the phone call.
Oh, well, people get shot at 7-Eleven all the time.
So officers had gone in, worked with ranchers to try to capture it, but they were unable to capture and contain the cow. Does it even say how the officer got shot then? Or were they trying to shoot the cow?
That's the mystery, Nikki. It seems that they were trying to shoot the cow, and somewhere in the middle of it all,
the officer
got shot. And so it was a lower body injury, flesh wound, like he's expected to make a full recovery. He's okay. And they say that the cow had to be euthanized.
I was at the 7-Eleven, so I could just move it on in.
Let me just tell you what I want. I want a picture of this cop in bed, in the hospital, eating a steak.
No.
Yes.
That's so mean.
Why is it mean?
Because
that cow shot him.
Nothing wrong. It did not shoot him.
It did.
Now, they are trying to figure... No, you're adding to the story there.
What are you saying? Come on.
The cow did not shoot it.
The ranchers didn't shoot him. The other cops wouldn't shoot him. That cow had a gun.
The cow escaped the stockyard. So, was it at a farm or was it at a...
Where it could run and play.
The last farm? Was it there? They said it got out, and so they're not sure if it was a police officer who accidentally shot the other police officer, or was it one of the ranchers who was working also to try...
Or was it the cow?
It's not the cow. Listen, if the police officer's actually taking that seriously and trying to figure out if the cow shot, that's a waste of resources and money and time.
Okay, well.
Wasn't the cow, and then the cow's dead now.
On the streets of Harrisonburg, Virginia. You don't know what it's like for a cow to get desperate.
Well, I would think they'd all be embarrassed. And I think they shot the cow because they were embarrassed too. And so the injury sustained during the attempt to bring the cow back, I'm not sure if the animal was injured as well. But then ultimately, mortal injury.
I think that in compensation for being shot, this police officer should be given half the cow, which he could then put in his freezer and over the course of the next year.
You know how much that is? That'd actually be great. I'll take half a cow.
That's what they say. Like, people are like, hey, you want to go in on a cow together?
You get to split them up between everybody's there. But I feel like when you read this, someone's not saying something.
And so we have this discussion about cows, and you're telling me that I think a cow grabs a gun to defend itself, and that's ridiculous?
Well, that's not actually what happened. If it did.
You weren't there. They're still investigating.
They're investigating because they're trying to cover up. I think someone else shot someone, and they're just trying to keep it quiet.
Okay, wait. Let me see if I get this. You're telling me that the cowboys and the sheriffs had a shootout
and
at
the police
7-Eleven,
officers.
and then to cover it up, they brought a cow in and shot it?
But we don't know what happened during that time. Let's
Which
get some
means
footage.
that my explanation is just as likely.
I will bet you money that
half a cow
if we find out, and I'll be wrong, then you can have half a cow.
Okay, all right. So, but if you're right, you don't get anything because I didn't bet anything on it.
Sure, it's just all on me.
It was.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, keep in mind that the following comes from Arizona. All right? So,
Arizona's a lovely place. Why are you saying it that way?
Well, Nikki, because I think that some people might be a little contentious when I tell them what I'm talking about.
Okay.
All right, here we go. In Arizona, they have put out a public safety warning that if you're going to go, walking or jogging on trails and stuff, don't wear headphones or earbuds.
You're not supposed to?
No.
Because what's out there to get you?
The snakes, Nikki.
The snakes? Can you hear them coming? I just thought you accidentally would just come upon a snake.
The snakes and the Gila monsters.
Oh, gosh.
And
well, that's next level then.
I know. And so when I read that, I was like, okay, two things. One, never going to Arizona. And two,
especially not going for a walk out there.
I'm no longer going outside.
They're saying that as the temperatures now are warming up, that brings out the snakes.
Worst in people?
Yeah, it brings them out. This is that time of year where you really need to be aware of the area because these snakes and lizards can be very dangerous.
I'm out. I don't want to live in a place where that's a thing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they say that isn't Arizona the nice one with no time change thing and for like asthma?
Well, now you see how they're bribing you. They're like,
so you don't notice these things?
Listen, we understand that you don't like the time change. Come here. Now, beware of the snakes that will kill you.
They say they've been asleep for the winter, but as temperatures are going up, they've started emerging hungry, thirsty, and looking for a special friend. And you're there on the bike path. You're in the way. So you just want to be careful. So don't hike with headphones or earbuds so you can hear the rattle, basically, when you're close to one.
The death rattle?
Yeah. So if you're listening to music or a podcast, you're like, what's that? You just hear it in the background.
It's weird. They got all kinds of strange sound effects on this one.
I know. And actually, when you hear that, you're like, you turn your music up more to hear what it is. And at that point, it could be too late and you could get bit.
She's not lying. So just a heads up, everybody. If you're headed out today for your new healthy you, don't have things up too loud.
Snake bites can start at over $200,000 to get treatment if you're bitten by a rattlesnake and you have the venom in you.
You know what?
So it's very painful, uncomfortable, and expensive. So they say don't do it.
And you know what? Just go ahead and shoot me. It's fine.
Like, don't tell me. You're not going to die, probably.
Tell me that you're taking me and that everything's good. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And then the next thing you know, I'm at the pearly gates.
You want me to wrap the snake around your neck?
And I'm like, no.
You're like, here, I'm going to take you both to the doctor.
No, not that. I want you to kill it slowly so that it pays for what it's done.
Well, then kill you, or do you want to watch it die?
No, I want you to, again, it's like you're telling me that I'm fine, and then all of a sudden I'm like, where'd Nikki go? Oh my gosh, I think that's Peter. I think that's, and I mean, you know,
you're in heaven.
Wow.
So they say you also need to pay attention when you're doing yard work, if you're in the backyard, in the garage. They say this because rattlesnakes are pretty much everywhere.
Nightmare.
So in Arizona, that's the the notice that's been sent out just as a reminder if you live there.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
The Riot is well-versed on many different topics.
They're shy at first, but they're quite skilled at conversation.
This is The Riot on Radio U.
I was really excited about our birthday cake, but now it's not good enough.
Why? What else do you need?
Well, I'm going to need to go to Japan to get an Oreo cheesecake at McDonald's.
You're like, how does that sound good? These actually look really good. Why don't we have anything good here at McDonald's?
Ever. Why don't we ever have anything good ever? Nothing's ever good, and it always sucks, and I hate it here.
Why don't we get anything fun?
Well, okay. Now, in fairness, I will tell you, you don't see something like this at McDonald's in the U.S., but Burger King, like they've got those Reese pies.
I don't want them to do that.
I mean, you can go to Burger King, you're never going to get one, but you can order one and you can see the picture.
I want the Oreo cheesecake. I know you could get like all these different types, but this one looks good.
And I want it from Japan.
I know, and I want to go there.
And I want to go there today.
Right now.
And I'm going to stay until the Olympics.
It is a limited time only thing in Japan, but it is a McDonald's Oreo cheesecake, and it does look good.
A lavish layer of cookie crumbs in the crust and on the top, which crowns a lemon-infused cream cheese filling. It does look good.
Yep.
It looks good. But you know what? I'll tell you the truth. I lied when we started. I would rather have the sheet cake that we have than this.
Why can't we have both?
Okay, I like the way
Instead,
you think. You're right.
McDonald's is like, here, give them some bakery cinnamon roll things, and that's all we get, or some muffins.
They're not as good. They're like, hey, we froze this crap and microwaved it here.
I'm sure that's the same with the Oreo cheesecake, but it feels like it's made with more love there. It's a part of their McCafe by Barista. It's a cheesecake for Oreos, and it will be a limited time from March 24th. They have no end date announced.
Well, we've got 2 days to get there so that we can be ready for it. Happy birthday, Radio U.
We really felt like we should celebrate the right way, so we went to Japan to get the Oreo cheesecake and brought it back.
We abused our expense cards for you.
We had to take a lot of days off.
And we're being extradited for embezzlement.
Well, that's later. Yay! Happy birthday!
Have a piece of cake. I hear they got really good stuff in the clink.
So, no, what? If you're just tuning in, you're like, what did they do? We didn't do any of that. It just looks good, but that's in Japan at McDonald's. We have a lovely, appropriately sized sheet cake here for our Radio U birthday celebration today.
Happy birthday.
And that's good enough for all of us.
Oh, yeah. More than enough.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Over the weekend, I watched 1/4 of the Justice League Director's Cut.
Well, and you watched the Falcon and Winter Soldier, so you watched that too.
I did. And Nikki went to the other side for us, and she watched the last Blockbuster.
I actually felt like I should watch it because you were doing so much on the other end that as a show, I should carry part of it.
And I appreciate that.
And I needed to watch the Blockbuster documentary, and I did on Friday night.
And how was it?
It was pretty good. It felt dated by when they were making it, because I know that came out for a bit.
It was out last summer.
It was, and then now it's on Netflix, and I feel like it just was waiting for a while. So it felt kind of old during some of it.
But what was it funny? Was it interesting? Was it what? What was it?
I tried to have a good attitude with it too.
Okay, here we go.
It just felt really boring.
Okay,
but the topic is, all the blockbusters closing and some of the drama around it. And you could really sum that up in 5 minutes. So it's just very hard to make a documentary keep saying the same thing for a longer amount of time. So I felt like they could have really shortened it up a bit.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
But it was interesting. There's a lot of things I didn't know. They talked about how, this one features the Bend, Oregon one. Uh-huh. And then they still had the Alaskan ones open during some parts of the documentary when they were working on it. And they discover how it started as a different video company there. They had 4 places. Then Blockbuster came in. Then they, moved into being a Blockbuster. But the one thing that was talked about a lot is they kept saying how everybody assumed Netflix killed Blockbuster. And that wasn't quite exactly it. It was that, who bought it? Was it Viacom bought Blockbuster?
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that.
So Viacom bought Blockbuster to take their profits to then afford Viacom to buy Paramount. And that killed Blockbuster because they didn't end up having any money. All their profits went to fluffing up it to be able to afford to buy Paramount.
That right there sounds really interesting to me. That makes me want to watch it so they can explain it to me in detail.
So Viacom basically ruined Blockbuster because it made so much money, but all that money was used over here not to keep Blockbuster afloat. So they kind of made Blockbuster pay for everything, and then it ruined it. Now, all that could have been said in the movie, in the documentary. Again, a very short amount of time. They just put a lot of stuff around it.
I'll tell you this about Blockbuster. They were too expensive.
Oh, they were? Well, they also said what ruined them was, I guess they did a thing where they stopped doing late fees. And that ruined them the next day. Like they just couldn't ever afford that.
The thing that was there for a while, they had a deal where it was like, I think it was $20 a month, where you could have 2 movies at a time, and you basically just treated them like a library. It was $20 a month. You just went and kept swapping out movies. Man, like I beat the crap out of that for 3 months.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Well, it might be worth you watching parts of it, but it was interesting to learn about what, killed Blockbuster and why it went the way it did.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? It's on Netflix, and hey, I'm paying almost as much for Netflix as I did for that Blockbuster service.
You were back then.
Sure, whatever.
Everybody did find it ironic to be watching it on Netflix. When Netflix did contribute, I mean, they do cover that. It didn't help Blockbuster, but that wasn't exactly the whole reason why it went away.
Yeah, because remember back in the day, Netflix wasn't this awesome thing. It was, get a DVD in the mail. Mm-hmm. How lame does that sound now?
I forgot, but it said even Blockbuster did that. They did the mailing DVD thing, too.
Yep, they did.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Porch piracy at all new levels. And if you don't know what porch piracy is, it's where people just come and steal your packages off of your porch. So, Nikki, I'd like to introduce you to something new.
What is it?
Pooch piracy.
Oh, is it the dog thing now?
Where you train your dog to go steal the packages and bring them back to you? It's
not something that I think is, old. I think this is a newer thing because I only just saw it, last week.
Because here's the idea. Okay, so everybody's got these... what do you call them, camera doorbells now. Yeah. So all these people keep getting caught going up to the door and stealing packages. So the new hotness is you train a dog to go up and steal the package.
And then they don't get caught.
Yeah, and you can't be mad at a dog.
In fact,
it's just a dog.
In fact, you'd probably be super excited a dog came to the door, even if it did steal your package.
He was probably just coming by to visit. He probably has this back at his house right now. He's going to bring it back to us because he's a dog. He's nice.
So some people are training dogs to steal packages off the front porch.
Shame on you. Shame. That you would drag your doggy into your criminal enterprise. What?
So they just wait, in the car, or they're off camera so that they know to give enough distance because everybody has, not everybody, but so many people have doorbell cameras now that they're going to catch if you don't use a dog.
What? Mm-hmm. What are we doing, guys?
I don't know.
You brought this dog into your life and now you're raising it into a life of crime?
Do you think they only got the dog to do that?
Probably.
That's shameful.
I don't know.
That's a shame.
Then again, I suppose maybe this is great because finally dogs are contributing. They've just been laying around, eating their food, whatever. Now this is their chance to finally do something.
I'm going to leave my dog at the front door so when the porch pirate dog comes up, they can have a little conversation, say, no, you can't steal this package.
Whatever.
We got this space.
Your dogs would be like, hey.
Can I come with you?
Hey, want a package? We have a package. Come back. We get them every day.
We got biscuits. Go on over. No,
you want to come in?
Yeah, my dog invites them in. We got more stuff. She got deliveries yesterday. Do you want those too? Come
upstairs.
on in.
It's upstairs.
Come see what we got.
It's great here.
Yeah, maybe we won't do that then.
Yeah. Well,
So
it
if you
just depends on the
see-
kind of dog you have.
On your camera, if you're missing a package, you might want to look on the camera or see if maybe a doggy took it.
I don't have a camera yet, but I'm right on the verge. I'm right on the verge of getting one.
I've never had a package stolen, and I've ordered a lot, so I know that my time will eventually come.
I have had one stolen,
Yeah.
but I had it delivered. I was on vacation, and I had a package delivered to a family member's house, and I got the notification that it had been delivered.
It was stolen there?
Oh, yeah.
Well, remember the one
It
time
was
the wind?
absolutely stolen.
Remember the time the wind stole your one? It just blew into some other yard.
That happened too. I had a package that came in and it was like, where did it go? Whatever. And like a month later, there was an empty lot next to where I lived.
Yeah.
And I like spotted this thing fluttering on this pile of junk. And I was like, I think that's my package. And I went over there, sure enough. But I mean, it was literally like pretty much an envelope. It had a game in it.
The one thing that's annoying where I live is in the neighborhood, like for the Facebook group, it seems like it's purely there to tell on people who are doing something. And then also just to post that they have someone else's package. And instead of just taking it over and dropping it on their porch, they just post there, hey, I have your package, come get it.
Well, hey, maybe they should send their dog over.
I know you send one over to bring it.
So
Aww.
pooch piracy, that's the new hotness.
Proper planning prevents poor performance. Clearly, the riot didn't properly plan. This is the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Again, I want to say thanks to Derek. Derek is a podcast listener, and he sent us some stickers.
Oh, yay.
Though I'll be completely honest,
It's mostly for you.
I don't think you're going to like these stickers.
Well, at least look at
There's
them,
nothing
but-
wrong with them.
Did you get a new laptop case yet?
No, I still haven't done it yet.
You need to.
But
they're Dune ones.
Dune stickers. So there's a Chome one, Arrakis Spice Coffee, House Harkonnen, House Atreides. It's cool. So, yeah, dude, thanks for sending those. And yes, I do need to invest in a new laptop case
Well, the cover,
so that I can put some stickers on it.
But then the cover he currently has a lot of his favorite stickers on it. So that's the
true.
problem. How do you get the stickers off or you need to get new ones?
I know. You know what? There's so many things that I need to really focus on, and I apologize that I haven't spent more attention on my laptop stickers.
Well, how dare you?
I know. I just feel like...
Even I had to order a new case. It comes tomorrow. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I cracked the side of my case, which is why you have a case, because otherwise I would have cracked the side of my laptop.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So, all right. Man, let's get to work on that. Maybe
And it was
you and
Derek,
I...
you said?
Yes, Derek.
Thank
Maybe you and I could spend a
Derek.
couple hours today shopping for laptop cases.
Well, I'll just show you the one I got. It comes in an array of colors, and it's pretty cheap, and that's all we're asking for.
Well, yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you like to spend a lot more time on it?
No, in fact, that was just a rash decision for me. I was just like, hey, get back in there and just order a new one.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about your rash.
Okay. You're such a... And here's Sick Obi. He appears. He appears right now. Lurking around all morning. There you go.
The riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's the riot on Radio U.
So when's the last time you bought a cell phone? When was the last time? A year ago? 2 years ago? Because a lot of companies are now making a very brave choice, Nikki. And that brave choice to save this earth is they don't give you a charger with your phone anymore.
Wow, isn't that nice? I mean, we all have one anyways, or
Right?
we use our own thing.
I don't care if I bury me in chargers. If I buy a
You still want
device,
one?
it should come with something that I can charge it with.
But see, I would never use it. I would always keep it in the box for when I would, if I would resell the phone when I was done with
Whatever.
it. And then
I
you would
don't
just
care.
sell it like that.
I don't care. Give me something to charge with. I think it's ridiculous. Now, you'll get a sync cable, and that's something that you can use to charge your
add a wall
phone.
yeah.
If that's what you want to do, if you have a wall charger for it, but you don't need a wall charger because you can plug this into any USB device and it will charge. Thanks, guys. Well, Brazil has just announced that it is fining Apple for not including chargers with the iPhone 12.
They are.
They are. They say that it's a violation of some law that they have. And
the charger law, do we have that? Or I guess it would be, do they have that?
There's only one thing about this. Like, part of me is super excited. I'm like, yes, go after them. They should give me a charger. This phone is $1,200 and I can't have a charger. Now, Apple says that that's because of the environment. They want to help the environment. They want to save the environment.
Well, they said everybody probably already has one. So if you get one, you're either throwing them away or they're just making a mess just by having so many.
Right.
You know, we all have the cable bucket or the cable drawer.
Well, in Brazil, they're fining Apple $2 million, which is roughly the equivalent of the amount of change that you can find up in Apple's, like, you know, where you put the car in drive, like, and there's that little change thing.
You're saying Apple has way more than that.
There's $2 million in the change thing there that they could give you. So, way to go, Brazil. You
so
showed them.
they're saying that Apple might not fight them on this and might just pay because they want to keep selling iPhones in Brazil. So they might just bow to pressure and pay the charge. Not necessarily saying that they'll start offering chargers in their boxes again, but this is what they would do to appease them.
Well, here's what annoys me as well is like, okay, you know what? You're right. Thank you guys for making this brave choice for our environment. I appreciate it. And thank you for knocking $30 off the purchase price of the phone since you're not including a charger with it. And then I can purchase one if I want to.
So you read in the comments, a lot of people, you know, they you could see the environmental reasoning for it, for not packing it because the box is smaller, you know, like you could see that. But they also say that Apple does have the right to sell the phone without the charger.
No.
And then if someone in Brazil wants to buy the Apple offer for Brazil with a charger that they could sell at whatever price they still wanted, you know, that would be something that they would do for the Brazil audience.
I love this person's comment, and I haven't heard this term in a while. They're saying this is greenwashing. And that is when a company does something to save money, but they pretend that it's environmentally friendly. Like when you go to the hotel.
And they don't want to give you new towels.
You know, we really want to save the water for the earth.
Well, would it have made you less annoyed if Apple just came clean and said, hey, this is actually why? Because we know that.
Yes, it would.
It wouldn't have been as annoying.
I would be less annoyed if Apple was just like, look, y'all got one. We're not putting one in there. We're saving the money. It's a waste of money. But instead, they're like, hey, we're going to get up here and lie to you. And because we say environment, everyone has to be on board.
The price doesn't change.
I mean, it's like I know this is like a controversial term, but it is virtue signaling. It's like you're lying to me about your virtue, and I'm supposed to swallow it because the earth. Like,
or not make enough noise about it.
If you mean it, then please mark the price down accordingly on the phone. Or and again, other people have said this, but what they do is they upgrade the phone. So they give you a certain kind of cord, but the charger you have is an older one. So it charges way slower. So eventually, what do? Buy the new kind of charger. I'm wise to your ways, Apple. You can't fool me.
So in Brazil, they're being fined by Brazil $2 million for selling those phones without chargers.
Well, I'll tell you what, Apple, hook me up with $2 million and we'll call it hush money and we'll call it even.
You'll never question them again.
You're listening to the worst of the riot. Radio U.
So, Nikki, how many Resident Evil movies have they made? 25?
7,
32?
8, 9?
17? 9?
No. Number Wang.
That's a number, Wang. 12, 42, 18.
You guys are like, what? It doesn't matter. It's just something.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. I don't know how many movies Resident Evil has even made. I'm not sure.
How many episodes has Number Wang been featured in?
Well, that we can tell you. But,
Word Wang.
You know, between the games and the movies, it feels like there's been a lot more Resident Evil stuff than there probably actually has been.
Right. So I think it's later this year we're supposed to get a new Resident Evil movie, and they just announced the title. You ready? Mm-hmm. Here it comes. Yeah. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City.
Hey, but it's not the same lady. It's the new one, right?
No, they say it's going to be totally different, and it's going to follow the storylines of the first two games and not the movies that you've seen so far. It's a reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Right, Raccoon City.
All right, come on. Let's do this.
I didn't mind the beginning ones, but they're just filler. Like, it's not. I felt like the movies didn't really say anything.
It's because
they didn't.
They're 85 minutes, and they take
really
place in one location. They're like.
And they weren't very scary, so it was like, well, what am I getting out of it? Intense, maybe, but not really scary.
I don't know. I don't think zombie movies are scary anymore.
Sure. Well, we've been oversaturated.
I think so, because you know what I watched this weekend? I watched Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
He did a Dawn of the Dead remake, and that was like the first time there were fast zombies, I think. And I remember that coming out and being like, it's too scary. I can't watch it. And I was just sitting there like eating a sandwich. Just like, whatever.
Watching it before bedtime.
Yeah, I actually thought, I was like, this is not scary. Why am I not afraid of this? Because I can remember there was a time in life when I would have been terrified of this. And now I'm just like, well, the world's ending. Time for bed.
That's because we've had real fear.
I guess.
And this stuff doesn't scare us anymore.
I just didn't even care. So when they talk about, he's like, we're making a new Resident Evil movie and it's scary. And it's like, it's not.
Well,
that's why
if it's not scary, it can be intense. And sometimes intense is fine. But intense needs to bring, at this point, we've had so many good intense movies that have really, they're intense because their script is so intense. Like the writing, and they just can't do that. But we'll see. Maybe the newest Resident Evil movie, it'll be like the Mortal Kombat one coming soon.
Oh, yeah, that's out next month, right?
That'll have a good script. That's why they have to show the heart being ripped out. That's all they got.
No, that's because it highlights the character struggle. And Nikki, it's actually a visual metaphor for the relationship between what's-her-face and so-and-so. And when the heart is ripped out, it's like...
It's hard to trust again.
Do you see what happens?
Yeah.
You know, your heart's on display like that. I mean, that's something we can all identify with.
It's hard to fight again when we've been... ripped apart.
It's like, you know what? I don't even want to fight anymore. It's like someone tore the heart right out of my chest.
So it's
hard for me to care without my heart.
Is that what we're taking from these movies?
It is. It is.
Because we're not being scared.
Nikki, Sub-Zero, what is that? That's someone who's been through a lot of things. So he just lashes out with his ice cold things, trying to freeze others. And what they both need to do is, explore their space, own their pain, so they'll be ready to, love again.
Forgive.
That's right.
Warm the heart back up.
That's
Put it
right.
back in.
Put it back in there. You put his heart back in.
Where did we come? Where did we get here? How did we get here?
I don't know.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Reese's does not rhyme with feces.